Hello everyone! Happy Tuesday! We are gonna make a really fun card today, and I have a really fun trick with our Stamparatus that I'm gonna show you today. So if you haven't used this thing, if the Stamparatus, if it's still on your wish list, if you haven't even broken out of the box, this technique I think may get you to use it. It's pretty phenomenal, and it's a time saver, and you're gonna love it. But before we get to the technique, let's go over real quick everything that's going on in July. There's a lot of stuff. We don't want to miss anything. Now, tomorrow is July 10th. That is your last day to subscribe for Paper Pumpkin, and it's going to be a good one. It coordinates with 3 different suites in the catalog. It's 9 full-size cards. It's going to be a good one. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you subscribe by tomorrow, July 10th. And the link to subscribe is in my video description. Also going on, you guys, bonus days. I've already had lots of people earn some bonus days coupons. You don't want to miss out. Earn those bonus days coupons. For every $50 you spend this month, you're going to get a $5 coupon to use in August. There's no limit to how many you can earn. I've already earned quite a few, and I can't wait to use those on the holiday catalog pre-order that demonstrators get to take advantage of, which brings us to our next amazing promotion, the extra promotion. This is a fantastic promotion. You don't want to miss out. It is $155 worth of products of your choosing for only $99. It's a fantastic deal. Joining Stampin' Up! Is so much fun. We have a lot of fun. It's just a fantastic deal, especially with the $155 of stuff for only $99. That's a great deal anyway. Hi, Michelle. So it is a fantastic time to join. So, and there's no strings. You are not required to sell anything. You're not required to do classes. You're not required to do anything. You can just enjoy your discount as a demonstrator and just be very happy with that and save some money. So if you want some more details, I've got to make sure some stuff's out of the way. Hang on. If you want some more details on joining Stampin' Up, I would love to talk to you more about that. So this is the card we're going to make today. Isn't this a beautiful card? I love that black. This is crushed curry with the basic black, and I just love how beautiful that looks together. And there's a little pop of pear pizzazz here, and I just love that. So we're going to stamp these flowers, and we're going to use the Stamparatus. The flowers are from the stamp set. This is To a Wild Rose, and it is a 3-step stamp set. So there's 3 different layers to the flower, which is one of the reasons we're using the Stamparatus, so we can make sure all the layers line up perfectly the first time. And I'm going to show you a fun technique to line them all up. It's going to be fantastic. But this is a fantastic stamp set, and it comes with, well, it doesn't come with, if you buy the bundle, it comes with it, but there are coordinating dies that cut out, some of them cut out the big flower. There's this fantastic label that has stitching on it. It's a great set of dies, and I have used it a ton, and we're going to use this one. We're going to cut out our flowers. I've used this entire bundle a ton. I just love this stamp set. But I'm going to get my stamps out because I haven't mounted any of my stamps, as you'll see. So we're going to start, and let me tell you what we're starting with. We are starting with a piece of white cardstock that is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. It is a square. Now I did this yesterday with a piece of 6 by 6 cardstock, and it was fine. It worked, but there was some extra cardstock that I didn't need. So I cut it down by 1/4 inch just to save a little bit of cardstock. So this is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. Now this technique will work with any stamps you have, as long as it's a square. It has to be a square for this technique to work. Okay, so I'm going to put my stamp set under here so it's nice and level. And we're going to put our first stamp on here. Now, at my class over the weekend, I had a class on Saturday, and we used the Stamparatus for one of the cards, and a lot of people kept asking, well, how do you make sure you line up the stamps in the right place? And so I wanted to make sure that I mounted my stamps for you to see so that you could see how it's all done. So I'm going to put this up here in the corner. We're going to be rotating our cardstock, so I'm going to make sure this one is in the corner. And this is our most solid layer. This is the bottom layer of the flower. It's this one right here, the most solid layer. And so I'm just going to put that right on my cardstock and just line that up, and then I'm gonna close this door right here, the one on the top. Okay, so we're gonna stamp this one. I'm gonna make sure every time I stamp, I'm gonna make sure that my cardstock is flush against the top and the side. So we're gonna start with some pineapple punch ink, and I'm gonna stamp that. And it's close to the hinge, which means I'm gonna have to press a little harder, but it should still work. Even close to the hinge, just give it a little extra press down by the hinge. And then you're gonna pull it up, and beautiful. Now I'm gonna lift it up, and I'm gonna turn it just one turn in the clockwise direction. So now I have my flower down here. So I'm gonna take my second layer. So this is, it's not the most detailed one, and we're gonna line it up. So I'm gonna try to do this without getting my head in the way. Okay, that goes this way, I think. So all I'm doing is just looking through the stamp and just making sure that it is all lined up. And I'm gonna try to do this without getting my head in the camera, but we'll see. Okay, I think it looks pretty good. So now that it's all lined up, and I'm gonna make sure that my paper is all square, I'm gonna close this door. And I'm gonna pick that up. And now we're gonna ink twice. So I'm gonna start again with my pineapple punch up here. This is already up in the corner. And I'm gonna stamp this one. And then I'm gonna get my crushed curry ink. And I'm gonna lift this off. I'm gonna make sure it's up in the corner. And I'm gonna ink up this one over here. And then we're gonna close the door and ink that one up. Okay? Beautiful, beautiful already. So that's 2 of our 3 flowers. So we're gonna rotate it again. And I'm gonna make sure everything is all in the square position. And I'm going to get my 3rd layer of that stamp. And this is the one that's the most detailed layer. And we are going to line this up right here over this one. And I think, is that good? So you can just see I'm moving it around, making sure it's all lined up. And then I'm gonna close this door again. And I'm gonna pick it up. And if some of this ink transfers on there, that's okay. It's all gonna stamp in the same place anyway. So we're gonna start with that one. We're gonna ink up in our crushed curry, and this one we're doing 2 at a time, which is fine. We're gonna ink this up in our crushed curry just like that. Make sure you get both of them over here by the hinge. Make sure you get that one. Okay, and before we rotate it though, we're gonna use our pineapple punch, and we're gonna ink this one up. And that will give us our 3rd flower. Okay, now all we have to do is rotate it once more. And we only have to ink up the bottom in crushed curry down here. And that will stamp both of our flowers. And we just need to rotate it one more time just to get that final detail on this flower. We'll rotate it one more time like that and just ink up. Now you could have done a 4th flower too. If you're making a lot of this card, you could have absolutely stamped that 4th flower as long as you're rotating this around. I only needed the 3 flowers, so we're gonna get kind of a wonky stamped image over here, but that's okay. I'll just use the other side of that paper later. So there you go. So that's 3 stamps, 3 of those beautiful flowers stamped in almost no, well, it took a couple minutes. I will say it took a couple minutes. You do have to remember which ones you're inking and which color, but that didn't take very long, and we ended up with 3 beautiful flowers. Okay, I'm gonna move my Stamparatus out of the way. And we are going to, let me move my inks out of the way too, before I pull in my die cutting machine, or it will be messy. Okay, I'm gonna pull in my die cutting machine, move my case out of the way now. Okay, and we are gonna cut all 3 of these flowers with that framelit, or with the dies. Okay, and so this just lines up just like this. Oh, this way, I think. Okay, I'm using my magnetic platform, and we're just gonna run this through one way, and then I'm gonna line up another one, and we're gonna cut it again. This is the longest part of this card, you guys, is just the cutting. I think it's actually even quicker to stamp it, but we'll see. Okay, so don't forget about that amazing extra promotion. And I'm always looking for more people to join my team. We have such an amazing time. We have a really good time on my team. We have a meeting coming up this month. I'm trying to figure out which way this goes. There it goes. We have a meeting coming up this month at the end of July. So of course, if you join my team before the meeting, you're welcome to attend that meeting. We have a lot of fun at the meetings. I do some demos. We do make and takes. We're going to be talking about the new holiday catalog. And as demonstrators can pre-order from the holiday catalog in August. So that's a fun perk. Okay, so now we have our 3 flowers all die cut. And I'm going to move my die cutting machine out of the way for now. Put that over there. Okay, now we just have to assemble the rest of the card. So we have our beautiful flowers that we stamped with our Stamparatus. Here's our card that we're making. Now let's pull in the rest of our pieces so we know what we're doing. This is our card base. It is 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it down the middle at 4.25. That's our card base. I'm gonna give it a nice crease with my bone folder. This is a piece of basic black. It is 5 by 3.75, and I've actually run it through the subtle embossing folder, so it's got a little bit of texture to it. We have a piece of Pear Pizzazz, which is 5.5 by 1, and we're gonna do a little embossing on that. And then I just have a piece of white cardstock. I believe it's like 3/8 of an inch, and the length doesn't really matter. We're going to be cutting it down, and I've already embossed this, but let's go ahead and do our embossing on our Pear Pizzazz piece. And then I just have some leaves pre-cut with some vellum, and these leaves were cut with the Good Morning Magnolia bundle, the Magnolia framelits or dies that came in with that bundle. That's where those leaves come from. But let's do our embossing real quick with our Pear Pizzazz piece. The greetings that I'm using are also from the To a Wild Rose stamp set. So we're using the Blessed down here, and so I'm using Blessed and Grateful. So I'm gonna pull out my Blessed stamp. And before we do embossing though, we're gonna prep our cardstock with our Powder Pal. This just cuts down on all the static, so the embossing powder only sticks to the ink, which is really good, especially when you're using black embossing powder. And we're actually using black shimmer embossing powder, so we really need that the extra static cut back so we don't get any where we don't want it. Okay, so I stamped that with my Versamark pad, and I'm gonna pull out my shimmer black embossing powder. I bought these containers at the Container Store, and this scoop was also from the Container Store as well. And so it's really easy just to sprinkle that on. Just give it a nice little tap, get all the excess off, and beautiful. We have our greeting ready to go. We're just gonna heat it up. Let me close my embossing powder real quick. There we go, put that aside. I'm gonna pull out my heat tool. And if you guys have watched any of my previous videos, you know I like to heat up my heat tool off to the side for a minute. It helps with the warping if you bring your heat tool already hot to your cardstock instead of letting it warm up on your cardstock. So we're just going to heat it up. You're going to see that powder change from a powder to a glossy finish. It's going to be beautiful. There it goes. So pretty. Okay, there we are. Beautiful, beautiful. And I love the shimmer in the black shimmer embossing powder. It's so pretty, and it just adds so much to the card. Okay, now all we have to do, I need some glue dots, I forgot. All we have to do is assemble the rest of the card. All of our stamping is done, all of our die cutting is done. We are just going to assemble. So I'm going to start with my black piece. We're going to stick that onto the card base, and that's going to go right into a card base right in the middle. Perfect. And I'm going to stick on our Blessed greeting, and that's going to go down on the bottom, I'd say like right below half. And that's going to go all the way across your cardstock. Now, because we're adding a lot of flowers on this side, you could cut it shorter if you wanted, but on my card we do have a little bit of the green showing here, so I just like it covering the whole piece. I think it just looks like it's more finished. Okay, now we're gonna get to our roses. Now the first rose I'm going to do is this bottom one down here. And I know you're like looking at it going, oh, wait a minute, there's 4 on there, but there's really not. We're gonna kind of piece one together. Where do my dimensionals go? Here they are. My husband is off today, so we've been getting some errands done, and my kids, you guys. So my son is away at camp, sleepaway camp, and my daughter is in zoo camp. So it's been an interesting week so far with nobody home. So I'm just gonna stick that one down in the corner down here, and I'm gonna flip it over. I use 2 dimensionals just to hold that down. I'm gonna flip it over, and we're just gonna trim this excess off. I'm just gonna use my scissors. You can use a paper cutter if you want. I'm just gonna use my scissors and just follow that line of the card, of the edge of the card. We're gonna trim that off, and then we're gonna use this extra piece up here for the rest of our flower. But this will be the last one that we put on. So I'm gonna start with these other ones, and I'm putting dimensionals only in the center of them, and normally I would cover the entire back with dimensionals. I'm only using 3 because we're going to be tucking in those leaves behind the flowers, and I don't want them to be blocked by dimensionals, so I'm only going to use 3 dimensionals on each flower. We're going to put them in here. So I'm going to set this one down here on the bottom. This one's going to kind of get tucked in behind it a little bit, just right up here. And then our last one, I'm actually going to put a dimensional right here on the card just so I know that it doesn't hang off the edge. And then we're just going to stick our flower in there just like that. And then we'll just go ahead again and trim off anything that's hanging over. And again, you could use a paper cutter for this. So my daughter, her camp is actually only a half day, so we pick her up at noon every day, but today she said she got to feed the hippos, and I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous. That sounds like so much fun. I want to feed the hippos. And in Albuquerque, our hippos are, I think I lost a petal, did I? Maybe not. Our hippos are named Mo and Karen. My children know all this. They're very obsessed with the zoo. We visit the zoo a lot during the summer. They are named Mo and Karen, so she's very excited that she got to feed Mo today. And I am very jealous. Okay, so our greeting, we are just cutting into the little banner end right here, and we're gonna end up cutting that other end off just in just a second. So I'm going to put just a little dimensional. I'm just using a piece of my edge just right here, and then I'm going to put some snail adhesive on the rest of it, because this part under the and will be hanging off the flower, and this part will be on the flower, so it all needs to be level. So we're just going to stick that right there, blessed and grateful, and we're just going to trim that off. So we're doing a lot of trimming, and now all we need to do is add our leaves here, and then the card is almost done. There is one more thing we're going to do, but okay, we are just going, I'm just using glue dots to attach my leaves, sticking them on here, and then I'm just going to kind of stick them right under my flowers, right here. Okay, and it doesn't really matter where they go. You can put them anywhere. I'm going to try not to let the leaves hang off because I don't want to trim the leaves apart because they're kind of delicate already, being made out of vellum. And this one I may have, no, I think it's okay. They're delicate already being made out of vellum, and just the intricate design of them, so I don't want to cut those off. And so this one I'm going to stick right under and have it go over that other one right here. And then our last one, we're just going to stick on that very top flower right up here, just right under it. Let's see, how did I do this? I think I went under this one, so that leaf still peeks out but doesn't really hang over the card, so we still have that little leaf up there. Isn't that beautiful, you guys? We have one more thing to finish this off, and I'm gonna grab my Take Your Pick tool. This is the best tool in the world. If you don't have one, you need one. Add that to your order with the Stamparatus, and then you'll get a bonus days coupons. Okay, I'm gonna use my Take Your Pick tool, and these are the Gingham Gala sequins. These were in the Occasions catalog. They have carried over. I'm going to use the yellow ones, of course. And we're going to use some of these flower sequins, and I'm just going to add a few. I'm adding one on the bottom. This just adds a little bit of extra kind of sparkle and shine to the card and just kind of ties everything together. And I just really love the look of these sequins on here. And that is it. We just added 3 little sequins. And that is it for the card. Isn't that beautiful? And so the stamping was really easy because we used our Stamparatus for that. We just kept rotating our paper. So it came out really easy, and this card is just stunning. And you could do this with any color. This is Crushed Curry again, but the black is stunning with anything. I especially love black and pinks together. You could do this with Melon Mambo. That would be beautiful. You can do this with any blues. That would be beautiful too. So any color rose you want, that would just be so stunning. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you need to order any of these supplies, please head to my online store and use this host code. This month, what am I giving away this month? Oh, I'm giving away blends this month. If you shop with me this month, you can choose any set of blends. If your order is over $50 and you've used the host code, you can choose any set of blends. So that's the light and the dark, and it can be any color. So as soon as I see your order of over $50 or more with this host code, I will email you and ask what color blend combo you want, and I will get those mailed to you as a thank you gift. So I thank you guys very much for watching my video today. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you next week at 3 o'clock. Thanks a lot. Bye.